In the 14th and 15th centuries, an electric combination of enterprise, wealth, and a growing sense of the power of the individual created an explosion of ideas called the Renaissance. A trip to Florence is more than a tour of a famous city and its art. It's a trip to another time. Behind the sublime architecture and dazzling art loom the great personalities that shaped the Renaissance. Their rivalries and collaborations drove art to extraordinary heights. And their work continues to draw admirers by the millions.
In the summer, Florence can be hot, crowded, and overwhelming. My advice? Plan ahead. I've read enough to get a feel for the Renaissance and what art I'd like to see, as well as what I'm willing to catch next time.
The galleries and churches of Florence overflow with art. Even the streets themselves are alive with the story of the Renaissance. Florence is small, and the main attractions are easily explored on foot. I'm headed to the center of town along the dark back streets and alleys that still evoke the Middle Ages. For almost 1,000 years after the fall of the Roman Empire, Europe struggled through the Middle Ages. Barbarians regularly pillaged towns. Independent city-states fought brutal battles against each other. Disease, starvation, and poverty took many lives. But even in those harsh times, markets filled the streets. Now, as then, the cries of vendors and the buzz of shoppers reverberate in the streets and alleys. No matter where you wander, you're never far from one of Florence's many open-air markets. It's no surprise the Florentines know how to throw a good market. They've been doing it for centuries. It was precisely this, commerce and trade, that transformed Italy in the Middle Ages. Italian merchants opened trade routes to the east. Money and new ideas flowed into Europe. This market, the Mercato Centrale, is the largest and most entertaining.
Now, how do you say hat in Italian?
Cappello.
Cappello. Oh, that's easy. That's cappello. So this is a Borsellino cappello.
Yes.
But it was textiles, not hats, that made Florence's fortune. By the 13th century, Florence became the wealthiest of the Italian city-states, wealthier than most countries. Capitalizing on all this trade was a family of bankers named the Medici. Their austere palace dominates this area of town. While never official rulers of the quasi-democratic Florence, because of their wealth and prestige, the Medici held the reins of power. Cosimo de' Medici, the elder, was a consummate businessman and politician. He was a kind and modest man revered by the people. His grandson Lorenzo the Magnificent swept the people of Florence off their feet with his personal charm, political savvy, and love of the arts. Lorenzo opened a school for sculptors and painters in his garden. One day, he discovered a boy with exceptional talent and invited him to live at the Medici Palace. His name was Michelangelo, and Lorenzo raised him like a son.
Their wealth gave Florentines something new: confidence. Their focus shifted from life after death to life in the here and now, from the divine to man. And this new way of life demanded a new philosophy.